Good evening and welcome to the 2018 Brashier Middle College Charter High School graduation. My name is Mark Taylor and I'm on staff here at Brookwood, and let me begin by saying congratulations not just to the students but to all of you for making it to this day. Some of you soared here through these past few years very gracefully, very peacefully like a dove, and it was a breeze, and for others of you it was a bit more like being chased by a grizzly bear and you weren't sure you were going to make it out of the woods. But you're here and that's great. Surely there's a lot of emotions, different emotions here in a crowd this size on a special day like today. So let's all take a deep breath. Nice. There's a lot of excitement, some anticipation, maybe even some relief. Parents, right? Surely this week there will be some sadness, maybe even some fear as you think about what's next. But for all of us here, let me encourage you, don't miss this moment. During these transitional periods between one chapter and the next chapter, we all face them, whether it's school or marriage or kids or whatever it is. These transitional times are a great time to bring some closure on what just happened and decide what it is that's worth taking with us into the future and what happened that we want to leave in the past. And so in the midst of this beautiful, special, great day, in the middle of all the celebration and busyness and activity and family and all the goings on, let me encourage each of you, and not just the students, but this is really for all of us, sometime this week, to simply pause, grab a few quiet moments, and reflect. What are some of the things that have been growing in you over these past few years, maybe in terms of your character, maybe in terms of your skills and your talents, your temperament, that you want to continue being shaped in you? What are some things about your life maybe that aren't going in the right direction, that in this transitional time would be a great time to stop and change course? Maybe some of the things that you're realizing who you're becoming isn't who you want to become. During this time of pause and reflection, let me encourage you to think back on some of the most beautiful memories and experiences you've had these past few years that you never want to forget, and document them, enjoy them, cherish them, take them with you. And maybe for some of you, there's been some painful moments these past few years that maybe carry with them some shame and regret from some bad decisions. And maybe now in this transitional time, it's time to make a break from those and say, I'm not gonna take that forward with me because that's not who I am anymore. Whatever you've brought in here with you today, we just encourage you, make the most of this transitional moment so that we can move forward into the future with a greater sense of clarity, a greater sense of passion, a greater sense of strength. So on behalf of Brookwood, congratulations to all of you, and thank you for allowing us to be even just a small part of this special day. Enjoy.
Good evening, graduates, friends, and families. I'd like to welcome everyone to the Brashier Class of 2018 graduation ceremony. When someone asks me to describe Brashier, the first word that comes to mind is family. And Brashier really does feel like a family, sometimes a little too much. For example, our wonderful parent volunteers, including the ones who volunteer so much that they're there more than some of our seniors. We also have students whose parents work for our school. Christy Young has an assistant principal for her mother, and Connor Shockling, without his mother, Mrs. Shockling, no one would ever be in uniform and the whole school would probably burn down. I personally have two family members also employed by Brashier, both my mother and my grandfather. Looking back on it now, maybe we should have carpooled and saved some gas. I'm sure the environment and my dad would have really loved that. But in all seriousness, Brashier is like a family. 4 years ago, most of the people sitting before you had never met each other. Just like a family, none of us chose who our classmates would be. But those people sitting around you became the people you spent every single day with. Not only did we form friendships with these people, we formed long-lasting bonds that will carry into the future. Unfortunately, we also have a lot of really embarrassing Snapchat stories that will carry on as well. These people sitting around you are the ones who went through all the hard times at Brashier, like senior project, and all the good times, like Spirit Week. We had ups and we had downs. We'll remember these days forever and look back on even research documents with fondness because we did them together. When we describe what high school is like to our children and our grandchildren, we won't remember all the tests we took or all the note cards we did. Thanks, Mom. Instead, we'll remember the people. We'll think back to the last time we all ate lunch together as a group, and we'll tell the stories of crazy wins in volleyball during Dig Pink and basketball during Spirit Week, and the rush we felt as we flooded the court. We'll also remember the uniforms because honestly, we could never forget those. For 720 days, give or take a few opens, we were together. And even though we are all headed in separate directions, the strings that tie us to each other will never break. We have students traveling internationally as well as all over the country, from Colorado to Alabama to even the best university in the world, the University of South Carolina. I'm sorry to any Clemson fans out there, but I could not miss that opportunity. Even though we are moving apart, I know that whenever I see a fellow alumni, no matter where I am, I'll have a friend. As a final note, I would like to thank my mom for making me be a part of the Brashier class of 2018 4 very short years ago. Without Brashier and the people in this class, I would not be who I am today. I would also like to thank you, class of 2018, for providing me a home and a family. I'm going to leave you all with a quote from a great philosopher, Hannah Montana. It's time to move on. Even though I'm not ready, I've got to be strong and trust where you're heading. 2018, be strong and move on. Because I promise everyone in here will go on to do amazing things thanks to the support system the Brashier family provided, including parents, teachers, administrators, and staff. Now, let's get this show on the road. Thank you.
Please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Gentlemen, please remove your caps. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated.